For this presentation specifically, we will be focusing on the reasons why we are against horse slaughter. We are Section 10 and Group 3 of Animal and Society. This presentation is due December 4th, 2024. We are Alicia Valdez, Katie Santos Anaya, Saul Fraga, Haley Jones, and Yvette Perez. History and background. As far as history goes, humans have been killing horses for over 30,000 years, possibly longer, as seen in Francis Chouvet painting, one of the first cave paintings. Horse slaughter is the killing of horses for human consumption. It is recognized that horse slaughter started in the early 1970s during the Watergate scandal and women's rights. Most Americans don't eat horse meat due to the drugs and other substances that horses had before slaughter. On November 3, 1998, Californians passed Proposition 6, which banned the slaughter of horses for human consumption. Horse meat was used as a protein source during food shortages in World War I and World War II. Horses are raised and treated like companions and not food-producing animals. 83% of Americans are opposed to horse slaughter. Horse slaughters plants pollute local water, decrease property values, fill the air with a foul stench, drain local economies, and damage the environment. Eating horse meat was seen as a taboo for some cultures.
Ethical aspects. Horses are transported long distance to slaughterhouses in Canada and Mexico, raising ethical concerns about their treatment during transportation. Since many people consider horses to be devoted companions, killing them is perceived as a betrayal of human equine bond. Finding the right solution becomes more difficult because of the ethical trade-offs that are associated with any suggested solutions, which ensure that some parties may lose money or their belief. Approximately 80% of Americans are against horse slaughter despite their lack of knowledge, demonstrating a strong ethical concern for the practice.
Cultural and sociological importance. For centuries, horses have been a beloved aspect of human existence, providing a variety of functions. Nowadays, a lot of people keep horses for racing, shows, and other purposes, as well as for companionship and therapeutic advantages. In various ways, these creatures have become essential to human welfare. Horses used to be necessary for transportation, agriculture, and even military duties. They were essential in building societies. Horses are still essential in some situations, such as herding sheep and cattle. New therapies have been developed that involve horses. The most common forms of horse therapy are equine-assisted therapy and hippotherapy, both with distinct goals. EAT is when the handler interacts with the horse to address psychological or emotional challenges within them. Hippotherapy is when the movement of the horse is used to stimulate certain areas of the body or brain. There are equine-assisted therapy programs in place that tame mustangs for therapy as a population control initiative by the Bureau of Land Management. Operation Wild Horse is one of those programs that use mustangs to reintegrate the veterans back into society once they overcome their service-related challenges by working with the horses. This program not only helps veterans become functional members of society once they overcome their service-related challenges, but this program also improves the overall welfare of the feral horses, giving them a longer lifespan and a more fulfilled life.
Current events. Even though there has been long-standing congressional ban on domestic horse slaughter, tens of thousands of Americans' horses find themselves being slaughtered in abattoirs located in Canada and Mexico every year to be sold and eaten in such countries as Japan, Italy, France, and Belgium. The federal prohibition on the slaughter of horses has been continuously extended through the yearly budget bill since 2006. This time in the fiscal year 2023, which officially started from November 2022, this decision is repeated still in relation to the fiscal year 2024, so that no domestic horse slaughter is allowed in the country again this grim year.
Horse slaughter includes getting rid of pregnant mares, foals, and/or horses who may be injured and/or blind. They are also transported with no food, water, or rest for over 24 hours, which is truly saddening to know. Slaughterhouses have been proved to be environmentally damaging along with economically draining to communities that have created the habitat and comfort for them. Horse slaughter results into the goal of having processed meat for human consumption, but the meat isn't just inhumane, but horse meat itself causes some serious health risks which can be very, very dangerous. Horses are not only seen as just an animal, they are often seen as a therapeutic animal, a pet, for races, or simply for a show. Many horses are not only seen for that, but for a long-time companionship. Most people see a horse as their best friend.
Exploitation of native horses and donkeys. As we can see in this graph, it shows how native horses and donkeys are being exported to Canada and Mexico, as said in the previous slides. However, in this graph, we can see just how much over the years. Instead of decreasing the exportations, it has been increasing. Between 1985 and 2006, we were able to see how the average exportation was 64,645 a year. Even though the U.S. closed down the horse slaughterhouses back in 2007, there was an increase that happened more than before. Between 2007 and 2019, the average exportation was 149,094 a year. The exports included horses and donkeys that were alive during the process. During the export, the horses and donkeys have to suffer going through a long and terrible journey. When exportation happens, they usually go through 24 hours without food or water, even without rest. It is inhuman that both horses and donkeys are treated this way. They did nothing wrong. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who they were or what they did. They were all killed or died during the process of the exportation. Some of these animals were left in a random town of Canada or Mexico. If they were lucky, someone would take care of them. If not, then they would die after not being taken care of. Knowledge of material. In the U.S., horses are primarily considered companion animals, not livestock raised for food, leading to strong public opposition to the practice. The transport of horses to slaughter facilities in Canada and Mexico raises ethical concerns as they are often transported long distances without food, water, or rest. Despite bans in the U.S., thousands of American horses are still shipped to slaughterhouses in Canada and Mexico each year. Horses are not just sent to Mexico and Canada. Recently, there has also been research that horses are transported to Japan, or more or less that horses are transported to Canada or Mexico, and then they are transported to Japan, where they are officially slaughtered, or they are officially raised to be, since Japan is the city where a lot of horse meat is considered food and so considered something really lucky, so Japan is the place where you will eat horse meat. Instead of killing horses, we can just take advantage of that and make use of the horses by making a therapy farm, making horse riding events, doing horse racing races, etc. Since horses aren't meant to be eaten, their meat is very dangerous as they might contain some chemicals that will hurt humans. Ways to decrease abandonment and neglect of horses. Some ways to decrease abandonment of horses is to make some campaigns for horses where people are allowed to come and learn more about horses as well as their well-being. Make horse riding lessons where people can come in and gain some experience riding horses. Ask for donations on social media and explain the situation. Try to spread the word about the situations across social media platforms. I said in the previous slide, a therapeutic ranch would be good too, since it will benefit those who have mental and physical disabilities. I think this is a great idea. As much as when we did the AAT-9A project, we actually had to go volunteer at a ranch or at an animal shelter, and we had to learn and see the experiences and go through, even ourselves go through experiences where we got to see and feel the connection that we had with these animals and how it benefited humans and how big of an impact that it was on humans. Even though we can't really see it, or even through movies or video to video, we can't see it. And being there in person actually shows how much of an impact this can be on humans and how it can help elevate their social, emotional, or physical abilities, which is really beneficial for us humans. It's something that we actually need. There can also be times where some ranches can combine to make one whole ranch and help each other manage horses. Even though this idea seems really risky, I will not reject that idea. I will not say that it's not a bad idea. It just depends on the ranches, the people, and the horses. Some horses or have a really good mate or have a really good connection with the other horse from the other ranch, which will then allow them to have a child, and that little horse will be both and will be split in the middle. And I think when they combine ranches, they can actually help each other more, not just the horses, but the people as well. The farm workers, they can help each other as well. It can help them come up with ideas to gain more money. It can be easier to manage the horses as they can all help each other. They each have volunteers, they each have helpers, family members who come in and help. It can help them actually socially. I mean, both of them be social, helping with their social life as well, and then the animals can also be having more interactions with other horses, not just the ones in their pen. Spread the word about horses being up for adoption to see if anyone is looking to adopt. During the overpopulation of horses, there are some branches that are actually lowering their horses, like money, how much they're worth. It actually lowers it so other people can actually buy them, so that they don't have to go through the hassle of having to raise them and being with them all the time, which is actually something good, because then it means that the other people will actually get to learn and experience how to manage a horse. Stop the breeding of horses, in which I can come up with 2 ideas for that. One would be to remove the male horses' ovaries so that they can't reproduce. This is something that happens really common in farm workers, because they don't want the males to produce any more babies, because then that means more work for them as well. Separate the horses by gender, females in one pen and males in another pen. This is something that
Depth and completeness of material. Horses that are 2 years of age or older are shown in the video being retired. After reaching their full potential, these racehorses are now at a slaughterhouse. Because of their visible fear, the horses have come together to help them cope with the emotional trauma they are going through. In their last moments, their bond of affection demonstrates the depth of emotion these animals have. They used harsh techniques, including beating and electrocuting the horses to get them into their designated areas so they could be taken into the slaughterhouse. This is cruel and unethical treatment. The video serves as a reminder of the need to protect horses from cruelty and their right to be peaceful and living compassionate lives. Not all farms and slaughterhouses treat horses ethically, and instead inhumanely treat them with a harsh, unrelenting hand.
U.S. horses slaughtered by country. This graph shows of how much of the U.S. slaughtered horses by a U.S. country. The ban of horse slaughter happened in 1980. However, this graph shows that there is still people slaughtering horses in 1990. The highest country being Canada at about 415,000, second being Mexico at about 448,000, third being the U.S. at about 340,000. Canada and Mexico are not surprising, but the U.S. is, since they are strict with the slaughter of horses. This goes on to show of how many horses were killed even though there is a ban. The killed horses, with knowing about the consequences and slaughter being illegal, even with the ban of horse slaughter, people choose to ignore it and continue to slaughter horses, killing the poor animals. Unexpectedly, Japan took over Canada and gained the spot as the highest in the chart in 1999, with the killing roughly over 115,000.
Informed opinion. Based on the research that we have done during the presentation, we can conclude that horse slaughterhouses shouldn't be allowed back in the United States. For starters, it is inhuman. Horses are living things that should be respected, as they have been helping us for many years, even to this day. Horses have a long history of being companions to humans, being part of the sport, and helping with labor. There has also been evidence of horses being abused and mistreated at horse slaughterhouses when they shouldn't be receiving that treatment, since they are going to be put down at that moment. Horses can be companions to people as well as just like any other pet, a cat and dog. The size doesn't matter, it's the bond that matters. Doing this to horses is just cruel, especially since all they've been doing is being helpful to us for generations. Before horses are put to sleep, they go through immense stress by being in the kill boxes and being abused while being in these boxes. Many Americans have been against the horse slaughterhouses, and by killing them, they see it as betrayal that goes against humanization. Horses have also been helping us with our mental health, as seen in animal-assisted therapy, AAT, which is very beneficial to us since we know that it can help with our emotions, social life, and physical health. These are the reasons as to why we know that horse slaughterhouses should remain closed and not allowed back in the United States. This is our works cited. Thank you very much for